So, hi guys, here we are, MMA UK News. Obviously, myself, Stoomboy, as always, MMA UK BJJ show. So, talking about Grapplefest 11. Grapplefest 11 is going to be at the usual place, Fusion Nightclub, Fleet Street in Liverpool. Doors, I believe, open about 3:30. First fight's going to kick off about 4 o'clock. Grapplefest are very punctual, so more than likely that first fight will be at 4 o'clock. So it's going to be Daisy Fresh against Europe. Daisy Fresh are bringing over a team of absolute savages to come over here and take on, obviously, some of the best in Europe. So you're going to see that, obviously, main event, Dante Leon. You've got Mikey Musumeci, Kendall Rusin, Fionn Davies. Yeah, I mean, this is an absolute star-studded event that we're going to have on. So tickets are all sold out. Some of the fighters may have some tickets left. I very much doubt it. But some might have some. So if they do, hit up your fighter. And yeah, they've got tickets. If they have tickets, then obviously the tickets are there available for you. Now, if you can't get tickets, the only other way is Flow Grappling. Now, I've been saying this to everybody. Flow Grappling have a thing on their website. When you do register, you have an option of paying monthly or paying for the full year. Now, if you only want it for Grapplefest, make sure you choose that monthly option, because if you don't, you will be charged for the full year. Okay, so and because you'll have used it, because you'll have watched Grapplefest, there is no refund on it because you've actually used the subscription itself. So make sure you do choose the monthly option. Otherwise, we're going to see a load of posts on the UK BJJ Underground on the Sunday complaining about Flow Grappling when it wasn't their fault. You've not read it properly. So my next guest, obviously, Mark Nguyen of Trident Martial Arts. Mark's going to be up against Ashley Wagg of Horizon BJJ. Obviously, we've got to see, Mark got a run out at Grapplefest 10. As I said, it was a good matchup, really, really good matchup against a tough opponent. Fortunately, didn't come away with a victory at that point. But again, that just shows the levels and so on that's on Grapplefest. So, Mark, listen, absolute pleasure to have you on as always, buddy. How you doing?
Yeah, man. Yeah, good. Thanks for having me back on. And yeah, I'm really good, mate. Yeah.
Nice. Obviously, Christmas then, Christmas, New Year, all done and dusted. How was it for yourself?
It was good. It was indulgent. Being on Grapplefest the back end of the year, I had to get down to 70, and sort of once that was out the way, I was like, it's Christmas. I can just all better off, man. Pizzas, Christmas dinners, all of that good stuff. So yeah, come back a little bit plump. Just working hard to get the weight off and enjoying being back in training after a quiet one.
Definitely. And what about training then? So obviously, we spoke about this before, saying that this year's going to be, hopefully, obviously, fingers crossed that no lockdowns and stuff like that come, which I don't see. But this is going to be our first full year back officially since 2019.
Yeah. It'll be my first full year at Purple Belt as well. So I'm looking to stay active. Not much has changed really in terms of training. The last time we spoke, I said about Trident Martial Arts. They've just got the bespoke strength and conditioning area opened up. So I've just been making really good use of that. There were quite a few gyms, thankfully, in the Northwest that had some really good open mats on over Christmas. So I got to travel around a bit, get some really nice rolls in against some different people that I wouldn't usually get rounds in against. So that was really nice. And then, as I say, as soon as we were back after New Year, like 3rd, 4th of Jan, it was just business as usual back in there. Started a bit of new strength and conditioning, a bit more focus with that. Guess like sort of bit of a New Year's resolution, I suppose, after coming back a bit chubby. But so not much has changed. I always try and train as hard as I possibly can, and get as much mat time in as possible, and keep that going. Really,
That's one of the advantages. I mean, I know I spoke to someone a few days ago about the North of England. The North of England seems to be an absolute haven for grappling at the moment. I mean, this is where some of your top guys, we saw it with the Nations, the Four Nations event at the recent SGI, where obviously they had Team England, Scotland and Wales. Team Ireland obviously unfortunately had to pull out, but Team England came up and ran absolute riot, man. Do you know what I mean? Literally ran riot.
Yeah, it's a really strong team, and as you said, the North of England, man, especially like some of the gyms we've got local to us are Trident. Like I went over to Sapphire, run by Chris Walsh. I went over to Precision, Kev Corkill's gym. We even went as far out as ASW Manchester to train at Cam's gym with some of his lads. And the fact that everyone's just open about having anyone in there, no politics in jiu-jitsu. Like it's just everyone making everyone better, and that's the best thing about it. Like we're lucky to have that, and that's why Team England took such a strong team. I even saw that, you know, there were quite a few late replacements to Team England that was following the team. Maybe in the slight hope that, you know, someone would just go, Mark, we're a bit desperate here. Do you want to jump on? Because, you know, I had a match that fell through on SGI. So it's maybe hoping for a last minute little buzz. But even the late replacements that went up for England were absolute beasts. And, you know, that's just testament to how well, you know, jiu-jitsu is and how much jiu-jitsu is coming up in the country, and especially in the north.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the North of England is where it's at the moment, but that happens. I mean, obviously, one year it might be like the London will have a strong team. It'll be obviously Wales, Scotland might have a strong team, but obviously at the moment, certainly last year, coming up to the end of last year, it was North England. I mean, and I speak to anybody I speak to from a North England, you guys always train together, and that's the funny thing, because as you mentioned it, that didn't happen years ago, where you couldn't just go to a Sapphire at ASW or whatever if you were Trident Martial Arts or whoever gym. You couldn't do that. But now it's very, very open.
Yeah, that's the best thing. As I say, you know, everyone sort of knows everyone, and you're probably quite likely to just bump into someone at one of these open mats that you're going to compete against or that you have competed against, and it's just sort of, so what? Like, you know, you just play, you know, if everyone's getting better, then that's the main thing, isn't it? Like, you know, I've got a 1 litre little banger parked outside the flat. I'll go anywhere in that as long as I can get some really solid rounds in. I don't care who it's against. I don't care if I can come up against them tomorrow in 6 weeks' time, or if they've just absolutely leathered me at a competition. I'll train wherever, and that's the best thing about the way the North is at the minute. We just want everyone to get everyone else better.
Yeah, definitely a fantastic set of gyms, North England. Probably anywhere from Newcastle down to, well, the guys in Hull said anything short of Sheffield was France.
Right.
They said anything Sheffield upwards. Yeah, that's the North England.
I was up in the lakes last weekend. I've gone to quite a few Lake District BJJ camps run by Sam K and Will K out of Lake BJJ. Ash Williams was teaching there last weekend. And I was speaking to Will, and he said us Scousers coming up to them, we're basically Southerners. So I don't know. I class myself as being Northern, but according to them, up in the lakes, up in the mountains, we might as well be London.
Nah, you're definitely North England, and I say definitely, you guys are definitely representing UK Jiu-Jitsu at the moment to the absolute fullest, man. I mean, and the thing is, you're enjoying it as well. I mean, it's because you know how people get really, really uptight, nervous, or like you guys, North England. I mean, especially when Team England came up, every single one of them, all five of the team, just seemed to enjoy themselves.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I mean, I was thinking about this. You know, like you were saying about I'm against Ash. He sent me a couple of messages on Instagram saying like all the best for training. Really looking forward to the match, and it's sort of like, why would you take yourself so seriously? You know, it's jiu-jitsu, you're in the sport to enjoy it, and I know a lot of people want to make it in the sport and become professional, but at the end of the day, you got into it as a hobby or a vocation, and you want to take it as far as you possibly can. But if you start sort of taking yourself too seriously or taking the sport too seriously and not enjoying it, then you're going to resent it, and training's going to become a chore. You're going to feel like it's something that you have to do. And you know, people battle with that mentality all the time, but you know, you've got to go out and try and enjoy it. And there's been times when I've turned up to compete and not enjoyed it, and then been struggling for a couple of days after it. And you've got to just sort of think that it was a hobby at the end of the day. You're a bit more involved in it now. You're maybe a bit more addicted to the sport. So just go out there and enjoy it.
Definitely. And then one of your boys coming in, Steve Chamley, saying you could have brushed your hair.
Could have brushed my hair. That's because at the end of open mat he wasn't shut up, so I couldn't get home quick enough to brush my hair.
So Steve, it's your fault, buddy. It's your fault.
He just kept talking, man. I couldn't get home quick enough to brush my hair.
And then what about obviously Grapplefest 11 then? So obviously you got the call up again, as they'd had the run out of Grapplefest 10. So here we are, Grapplefest 11. So again, how did you find out, obviously, you were going to be on Grapplefest 11?
Similar to sort of last time, Grapplefest, they'll openly do their post of sort of, here it is, here's the big applications are open for the undercard.
Yeah.
And, you know, last time I was on Grapplefest 10, I'd be lying if I said I didn't put a lot of pressure on myself to go out and try and get that win, because I was almost like, it's win or you're done. I was like, I've got my foot in the door. If I lose, I've lost this massive opportunity to mix it up.
Yeah.
So when I and gave it a really good match, and sort of, you know, I was sort of, oh man, what, you know, what might have been if I'd have won that? I'd definitely be on it. And, you know, I put my name in because, like I said last time, I'd be doing myself a disservice if I didn't put my name forward, because that's the level that I feel like I'm at now. And eventually, Chris got in touch and he said, you know, I'm thinking of matching you with Ash, because you both came away with a loss last time, but you put an absolute shift in. You were both great matches, and then us two, Ash and I, would, you know, we've both said we're going to put an even better match on this time.
Yeah.
And I, you know, I gave it all to Tomo, saying, man, you could have gave me any name and I'd have said yes. But, you know, the fact that he's put some careful consideration into who would Ash and I, you know, go against each other, that's how that came about. I said yes straight away, and by the sounds of it, Ash said yes straight away, and that was it. He, you know, within half an hour it was done and dusted. We were matched.
Yeah, I mean, it was good matchup as well, but because obviously when you watch the both of you at Grapplefest, I'd say very, very high paced. You both are pushing the pace, and so it's going to make for an interesting matchup, the two of you together. Because again, none of the two of yous on Grapplefest the last time stepped back. You came forward, and you were always trying to push the pace, trying to get submissions, trying to do things. So, and that, having the two of you in the same match on the next one is going to be a very, very interesting one.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Like, I'm yet to see Ash and Benny's match from the last Grapplefest, just because, you know, I haven't managed to see it, and it was a bit too close to my match for me to have been able to watch it beforehand. I was getting warm, getting loose, and getting ready to go out there for mine. But, you know, from the sounds of it, from what everyone said, it was a really back and forth encounter. I am obviously going to watch it a couple of times leading up to Ash and I's match. But yeah, then my mindset going out there was sort of, I'm going to go forward. I'm going to try and not be on the back foot at any point in the match, apart from the first 2 seconds when Vincenzo put me on my back immediately with a double leg. I was just like, I'm just going to try and go forward and forward and forward, and be as exciting as I can. And, you know, I had a big crowd there, and I wanted to put on a show for them, because that's what they deserve. You know, they've spent their hard-earned money to come and see a friend of theirs compete. I'm not just going to be, you know, holding someone in closed guard for 10 minutes, throwing nothing up. I just wanted to attack, and that's where the loss came about. You know, we were talking just before going live. I had like a minute left, 30 seconds left. I was just thinking, man, I could probably just stall this and close it off, leave it in the hands of the judges. And I was like, that's not what I want to do, and that's not what Vincenzo wanted to do. Benny and Ash, that wouldn't have been what they wanted to do. So, you know, it makes for a really good matchup, really.
Yeah, that's the Spartan way, mate. That's the Spartan way. Do you know what I mean?
I wanted to go
for the
for
glory.
That was it.
No, definitely. Listen, it's very admirable. As I say, I've done it myself. I'm pretty sure anybody who's watching this has probably done the same thing.
Yeah.
You'd probably look back and say, would I do anything different? Probably not. I'd still go for the glory. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, one or two things that I probably think, oh man, if I'd have done this there, maybe if I'd have wrestled up on this, or maybe if this entry into the legs was a little bit tighter, or a little bit less rushed. But, you know, what can you do?
Yeah. Listen, I'd say that's the one definitely going to be an interesting matchup. So, so definitely looking forward to this one. And then, what about you? As I said, we spoke about obviously 2022 being the first full year back since 2019. So what kind of things you got planned in? So obviously, Grapplefest 11 is going to be your main focus. So what do you see yourself doing going forward?
Just before Grapplefest, AFW Liverpool run an interclub, which has got quite a bit of traction of late because of the nice style that they've got in terms of like allowing white and blue belts quite a lot of experience, both gi and no gi, and then some of the advanced matchups that they're putting on have been really, really, well received. So I'm in for one of those. I've got a 10-minute sub-only match against Benny Baldini, funnily enough, Ash's last opponent. So that's on the 6th of Feb. So that'll be a good bit of experience before the next Grapplefest. I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to sort of take it as it comes. I'm going to, as I say, I'm going to try and be as active as possible. There are a few other comps, but I want to get a few more like tournament style competitions under my belt as well. I went to the British Open in December, and that was the first time in quite a while that I've been at that tournament format, and felt a little bit rusty, like having to go to the bullpen, all of that kind of thing. So I just want to get a few of them done. And then, as I say, just being as active as I possibly can.
Definitely. It's going to be a good year. I mean, 2022, it's going to be a good year. I mean, this is going to be the year of grappling, definitely. As you know, Grapplefest have got a few events put on. There's events all over. SGI in Scotland, they're going to think they've got 4 events on this year. And there's going to be events all over the place. And there's new events popping up all the time as well, because obviously we've not had grappling for a proper, for 2 years. So there's a lot more events coming up as well. So there's going to be lots of opportunities for obviously yourselves and anybody else that's looking to get on shows.
Yeah, I mean, when we came back after the lockdown last year, there were a few comps, and then I feel like it might have gone quiet a bit towards the end of August, September, and then end of the year started getting busy. But as I say, there's loads of new comps. People are coming up with different ideas. We want to try and keep grappling fresh. As I say, ASW have got that really nice idea of having a 5-minute sub-only gi match, 30 seconds to get changed into your no-gi, and then having a 5-minute no-gi scrap as well. Like that's a really good concept, and especially some of the white and blue belts from Trident are really relishing competing on those. So if something like that came up for purple belts, I like competing in the gi. I like staying active in that as well. If something like that came up, I'd love to get on it. All these fresh ideas are really nice.
Nice. And then final thing for you then, so anybody you want to shout out to? So obviously I know we only spoke a couple of months ago, so but friends, family members, teammates, sponsors, anything like that.
Yeah, similar sort of stuff, man. Like everyone at Trident's given me a really big push. As I say, as soon as I announced that tickets were available for Grapplefest, people getting in the messages straight away, wanting to buy tickets, wanting to spend their hard-earned cash to support me, and I put an Insta story out last time after that loss, just saying, sorry I couldn't bring the win back for them, but that feeling of walking down those steps onto that mat and everyone on match side cheering for you, like that will never be forgotten. And I can't really say enough how much that's appreciated by the team. So every single person, whether it's people who have been getting the rounds in with, or people, as I say, who are parting with the money to come and support me, it's massively appreciated. And then just before Grapplefest last time, I had MBR Fightwear come on board and sponsor. So a big thank you to them. They've done some really nice custom gear for the gym as well, which I'm looking forward to getting my hands on. So just anyone that's given me some rounds, all the people who've let me down to the gym over Christmas. So like Sapphire, Precision, Kev. Whenever I've messaged them and said, "Can I come down?" he's sort of saying, "You're having a laugh, aren't you? You're welcome anytime." And then all the guys at ASW that I had good rounds with as well. And then up at the lakes recently.
Nice.
Too many people to thank and think of off the top of my head, really. One of those, isn't it?
Yeah, well, listen, anybody that you have forgot, they know who they are. I mean, that's we don't need to mention.
They can come and give it to me at training tomorrow. Why didn't you thank me? And we can settle it on the mat.
Nice. Well, it's an absolute pleasure as always, Mark. So,
yeah, man, you too. Thanks for having me on.
So, guys, listen, Saturday, 26th of February, Grapplefest 11, Daisy Fresh versus Europe. So, Fleet Street in Liverpool. So, it's going to be at Fusion Nightclub. Tickets are sold out. As they check with your chosen fighter to see if they have any.
I've got some left.
Mark's got a few left. So I know there's a few people that have still got a few left. So, because I know a lot of people went through the general sale rather than going directly to the fighters, because I know you guys didn't get them until recently. So, so Mark still has a few. So anybody's looking for tickets, hit up Mark. Failing that, as I say, Flow Grappling. As I said, make sure if you are signing up for Flow Grappling, you've never been on it, make sure you choose the monthly options if you're only paying for the Grapplefest event, because as I said, unfortunately, Grapplefest, if you haven't picked it, then it charges you for the full year. Okay, so it's 114 quid, I think it is, for the year, which is not bad. I mean, as I said, there's a lot of stuff on there, Mark. So a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah, the IBJJF Euros is coming up just before Grapplefest. If you like all that kind of stuff, you can watch that.
Yeah.
I forgot to add then in the shout out, thanks to Chris and thanks to Grapplefest for the opportunity, and then thanks to Ash for taking the match as well. I'm really looking forward to it, and all the best to Ash in his training as well.
Nice one. Listen, Mark, thank you again, brother. I will be there on the night. I didn't get to the last one. Obviously, I had some family issues, so but I will be there this time. So obviously, we'll get a catch up on the night. So obviously, hopefully, either before or after your matchup, we'll find out what. All right.
Awesome.
But listen, train safe, buddy. Stay away from COVID.
Thanks very much.
I know you've been a school teacher, it's probably a bit difficult. So
mask on all the time, mate.
Mask on all the time. But listen, stay safe, buddy, and I'll see you next month. All right.
Cheers, mate. Take care.
Take it easy, buddy.